Okay, everybody, welcome to the Masterminds podcast. I am your co-host Brian, and this is another training. So I'm super excited to share this training because I have been asking my audience on Instagram stories all week several questions that make them dig deep. So then this training is all about the power of questions. So last week we spoke about empty spaces. So now, questions are a way of framing an empty space. And that's why the first training was on empty spaces and how powerful they are. When you ask a question, you're creating a container for that empty space for you to ruminate on, for you to use your musing mechanism. So when I talk about your musing mechanism, your musing mechanism is the part of your mind used as a workshop to imagine what ifs and what could be and what could it mean. You know, this part of your mind is extremely powerful because this is where we end up creating our answers for our world. So the power of questions put us in a position where we now take that empty space and just create a border around it, but we still don't fill it. But now we've created this border where now the empty space has conditions for ideas to generate and work on something. So the genius, and genius is should be an entirely separate training, which taking a mental note. But Albert Einstein was saying that I'm not smarter than anybody else. What I am is that I've stayed with a question longer than anybody else. Our ability to stay with that continuation of thought is really what gives people power, because the longer that you think about something, the more nuances you pick up, the stronger your relationship to something. It puts you on the cutting edge and makes you an expert in that question. Becoming an expert in the question is what gives you an expertise valuable to the rest of the world. So right here, I have a list of the 7 powers of questions that I would like to share with you guys. Questions have the power to clarify your thinking so that it helps you sort out what is and what is not. Questions have the power to foster learning because, with questions, you can start generating answers and getting closer to what we talk about as truth. Because if you're just walking around statement after statement after statement, you know everything, you cannot learn anything. But if you shift the way that you work with your mind and start going question after question after question, you start to find answers after answers after answers instead of making declarative statements. All right. So the next one is the power to spark innovations, because through questions are a unique way of creating change. Questions push change because it makes you reevaluate what you know. It makes you reevaluate how things work, and the potential with questions, you can really start to explore what the potential of a certain circumstance, a certain technology, or even a sense of self. So the 4th power of questions is the power to build connections. So with questions, it connects you to answers. So questions, when directed to other people, it makes people open up. It makes people share parts of themselves. So when you're going back and forth asking each other questions, you're engaging in a transaction of revelation with one another. So the better you are at asking questions, the deeper your relationship with your counterpart can become. The 5th power of questions is the power to empower other people. You can empower people with their questions. I was asking the story this week, what's one story you need to stop telling yourself? Because sometimes it's time to clean house. You know, like that was my thinking when I generated that question for my audience. I was like, yo, we tell stories. We live in a story. The quality of our stories become the quality of our lives. So are we carrying around stories that we need not carry anymore, the experience of carrying these stories is like trying to run a mile but having a plane tied to your waist. Shout out to my friend Tokyo Pro who put that on his timeline the other day. So questions also have the power to drive action, because after clarity comes action. After clarity comes certainty. After clarity, you can feel comfortable taking that next step. Even if you don't know what the result is going to be, you made sure to put everything together. So now with the right questions, when you really get into your why, you get that clarity. Why am I doing things? Why do I want to do things? Getting into your purpose, there's nothing left now that you've done the checklist but drive action, and you'll feel that power once you ask the right questions. And the final one, the powerful seventh power of a question is the power to transform. The power to transform perspective, because your ability to reevaluate your perspective allows you to approach the world in different ways until you stumble upon a kind of truth that opens a new gate and relationship to the world for you. So I encourage everybody to start asking better and better questions. Questions are what move the world. Stories move the world as well, but questions are right there on the control panel of your life. All right, thank you. This has been my training. I will see you in the next video. Pam and I have something really, really exciting that we want to share with you guys, but it's super secret, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. So stay tuned, and you will catch us in the next videos slowly revealing what it is. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.